Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. This is the M2 MacBook Air, and I think it's almost perfect. I truly love Apple product, and it's been really hard not watching all the new unboxings, reviews, and impression videos since I really wanted to keep my impressions video objective. So today I'll be diving into my unboxing and first impressions. Now just over 7 months ago I started this YouTube channel, and I done it all with just my 14-inch MacBook Pro and my iPhone as a camera. But honestly, I wish this MacBook Air came sooner. I would have saved myself a good chunk of change. Now the Pro 14 is a great machine and it'll hold me over for a long time, but if this M2 Air existed, it would have just been an easier choice. Now this isn't a comparison video at all, I'll save that for another time, but I'm going to take you through my first couple real days using this MacBook Air and my first impressions. My review will be soon, but honestly this video is for the everyday person or starter creative. I'm not really spec heavy, I'm more user experience heavy. So after waiting at my window for UPS all day, I finally got my M2 Air in after 6 p.m, but the wait was well worth it. Getting into it though, it's always basic when unboxing. You've got the MacBook on top, which is a lot lighter than I thought it'd be. Setting that aside, you've got the dual port 35 watt charger in the box, and I thought this came with the 67 watt fast charger by default, but honestly I find the double port charger way more useful for the everyday person. And of course you've got the MagSafe cable included, which is new to the M2 Air, perfect for freeing up one of those two USB-C ports for charging. Oh yeah, and there's matching stickers if you care. The model I got is one step up from the base model. I'll throw the specs up on screen here if they matter to you, but straight up you need more storage right off the bat. 256 gigabytes on the base model is just a crime. And wow, getting this thing in hand is absolutely amazing. This MacBook legit is beautiful and reminds me of the OG matte black iPhone 5. It's a tiny gem but in laptop form, and as mentioned, it's lighter than I thought it'd be. Off the bat though, this thing smudges like crazy, but I personally really don't care. I'm not going to be wiping this thing down every 5 seconds. The midnight blue color looks sick, and depending on what your lighting is like, sometimes it looks super blue and other times it looks closer to matte black. Out of the new colorways though, this is still my favorite despite the fingerprints. I did notice some abrasions near the USB-C ports though. Hopefully the sharp edges on the MacBook itself don't follow suit, especially taking this in and out of bags repeatedly. On the left side, you've got two Thunderbolt 3 ports, which for most people is fine. The shitty thing is though, Thunderbolt 3 will only let you have one external display. Again, that's fine for me, but if you want more than one display, you'll need a display link dock like this one from Anker. I'll link this one down below. I keep mine in a vertical stand since I like the way it looks in my setup. And I use a Thunderbolt cable to connect to my studio display to set this up, so I'm not even really using the MagSafe. Not that it's not useful, but my setup has me covered for charging. And if you do need it, the high impedance headphone jack is pretty badass. Don't get me wrong, I love my AirPods, but a fat set of headphones is always nice. Talking about the size and build quality though, I really miss small tech. I have the iPhone 13 Pro right now, and honestly I really miss the size of my 12 mini. I have the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and while not a whole lot different, this tiny, light MacBook just feels amazing. It's tiny enough you literally want to take it with you everywhere you go. But anyways, the setup is always easy when it comes to Apple machines, especially if you're backing up from Time Machine. I did a backup and restore from my 14-inch MacBook Pro, but I forgot that that's running a macOS Ventura beta, so it didn't quite work out for me. I ended up having to do boot recovery and reinstall macOS entirely. But honestly, after doing a fresh setup, I really don't mind since most of my stuff is backed up to iCloud, and my software setup is rather minimal. And after all of that was done, it was really easy to love this machine because I truly use it for just about everything. I'm not sure if it's because it's new and shiny or because it's super lightweight, but I've been really taking this thing with me everywhere I go, and it just works. For the everyday person, this thing can really be the perfect companion, whether you're learning something new in the kitchen, which can be dangerous at times, or waiting for these long-ass game queues. It's nice to have at my side to subscribe to my favorite YouTubers. I did get a chance to get some lazy work done in bed, and playing some decent games, it handled it with absolute zero issues, depending on what you're playing of course. Editing videos has been insanely smooth as well. Working 4K footage without a hiccup proves this would have been the perfect machine for me when I started this channel. FaceTime was fine as well. And this is me using the built-in microphone and webcam. It's actually way better than the previous iterations, so I really can't complain. And after you gamed your last game or excelled your last spreadsheet, Netflix in bed is always a good way to end the day. And you don't even really feel this thing on your chest. So what are my impressions overall? Honestly, this thing is damn near perfect. There are only two problems I have with this MacBook, one being the base model 256 gigabytes is absolutely laughable. Apple, please just do better. And two, the M1 MacBook Air still exists. And that machine as well is freaking incredible and a little bit cheaper. But having gone from Friday when I unboxed this to Monday morning, I'd only had to plug this thing in once, and for battery, that's priceless to most people. Overall, consider me super impressed on this first impression. If you're not too sure whether or not the M2 Air is for you, I'll have a review in about 2 weeks. If you are trying to choose between this and say the M2 Pro or M1 Air, just forget the M2 Pro exists. That only exists for Apple, which I talk about in this video linked above. The cool thing is, if the M2 Air doesn't work out for you, just return it. Anyways, that's been it. Thanks for watching. Till next time.